just never confronted the fact that I just decided not to do it until
and you're actually a really sexual being.
Oh, completely.
Yeah, and that's what's been frustrating for me on this side of the table, because I'm like, good God, you're killing me, man. Like, you can have this much more robust and like amazing sex life with Kari, not anybody else. I'm not asking you to do it with anybody else. As we know, when I'm in a relationship, I'm super monogamous. I'm not a cheater. But it's like, oh God, confronting our issues and stuff like that. I agree with you. Like, I literally just came out of the closet about the rape, right? Wow. What was the rush there? So when you're talking about just a minute ago about how all of that stuff, if you think about it all piling on top of each other like Tetris, right? Where like all of a sudden it starts going faster and faster and you can't get everything into its little spot. In the beginning, it's kind of like do-do-do, do-do-do. And then it goes so much faster as you get older. That's what's happening. And it's compiling and you're like, what do I do first? How do I, and I'm at that place right now where I've got so much that I'm like, okay, that I let go of, I'm good. This I need to let go of. This I'm kind of halfway there. And I still don't have I still don't have the tools, no matter how many books I read, no matter how much I journal, no matter how many places I go and talk to people about it. I'm fucking broken and I'm angry. And I don't like that. And I don't really know what to do. I really don't. I want to say that I do, but I don't. I'm being honest.
So we just live with it? Do we just accept that it's there? Because again, it's...
Accept that it's there and just say, okay, now you can't let that affect you anymore. Own it. Understand that it's there. It's part of the fabric of your being, of who you've turned into. But now, because there are things that I've done in the past, which I have no regrets, which I've said before, but there's still things that have happened to me that have affected me, whether I have regret about it or not, right? That is part of who I am and part of my belief system and part of how I'm in the world with the people that are around me and the way I bridge relationships with people, both in business and in interpersonal relationships. I mean, I don't know. It's tough, man.
Completely. It's just... I just have so much.
Are you about ready to give me a quiz? I feel like a quiz is coming.
I was thinking when you were talking, it just feels like we suffer from so much PTSD that we don't even know it.
I know, and I apologize for giving you like 17 things that give you PTSD. That might only be like a few of them. There might be way more that we don't know about.
No, hold on. Just hear me out. It's like, think about that. Like, I think we suffer as a humankind so much PTSD that we don't even know it. That we replay, things in our head of what happened, of what once was.
Wow.
Did that make sense to anybody?
The 2019 Orator Award goes to...
I'm going crazy, people. I'm so sorry. But we play these images of what once was.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like there's I saw Miss Saigon last night, and for those of you that don't know Miss Saigon, listen to it and go see it.
It's phenomenal play.
It's amazing. And I haven't seen it for like 20 years, like back on Broadway in New York, but oh my God, it was so good. And there's a song in that show that I've sung many, many times, and it doesn't matter, called Movie in My Mind. And yesterday when I was there, it reminds me of, because I've got problems with my mom and I's relationship. I would say that the number one thing from a broken heart perspective is the fact that I have such a completely different relationship from my mom that it could be. And so my mom has her own movie that she created in her mind of what I was supposed to be like, what she wanted me to be. I am not any of those things. I'm not anything that she thought I was going to be. I don't know if she's proud of me. She says she is, but I don't think that she would really be proud of me if she really knew what I was up to. But I had my own movie, right? And my movie has changed over the years. And so,
You've written your own story just in a different way, in a sense.
And so being okay with that, like Godfather 1 was fantastic. But Godfather 2 was great too. I mean, that's why we have sequels, because we don't have any more creative ideas in this world. We're just going to keep redoing the same story over and over again. Please, Jaws 20. Could you please pop out? Because that's what I want to see.
Let me ask you something. When you go through certain trauma in your life, or when you've gone through trauma, I don't even know if you're going through one now. I haven't really asked you that lately. I don't know if that's even appropriate to ask anybody. Hey, Lyndsay, are you going through trauma right now? I don't know if that's appropriate.
The answer would be yes.
Okay, fantastic. I mean, not fantastic. I'm sorry.
I mean, it is what it is. I just consider me being in a traumatic situation every day of my life. Oh, and to point out pain from a heartbroken and an emotional perspective, and I'm sorry that I just cut you off. I really apologize. So when I was talking about the Tetris thing, building up up and building up. One of the things about my pain and CRPS, and this is with others, is that I'm going through this new thing called biofeedback. It's not new. It's new to me. And it's basically going through my entire body, just like trying to fix all of the brokenness that our brain sends different kinds of things to your body, to your organs, to this, that, and the other. And pain is one of them. Pain manifests itself into places in your body, right? Wherever that might be. Mine is in my feet. And my psychologist thinks that all of the crap that's happened to me and all of the things that I've done that I agree with or don't agree with or what have you, that heartbreak, that trauma, whatever it might be, has all gone into my legs and my feet, and that it's keeping me from moving forward.
Ooh.
Right? So my feet, literally, physically, if I don't fucking address this shit like now, I'm not going to be able to move forward. I'm not going to be able to put my feet on the ground without it feeling like I'm stepping on broken glass and Legos and heat and coals and fucking Game of Thrones every minute of my life on my feet. I am not dealing with the emotional heartache and break and trauma, and that is actually my number one problem. And it's like my mind exploded when she said this to me the other day. So, that manifestation of this shit, in our bods.
And I think it goes through every day of our life, like little tasks. Like for me, I notice that when I have to get something done, I'll just keep it there for a while. I'll just keep it there.
Well, yeah. Oh, that makes more sense now.
I just keep it there because I know that I have to do it.
I read the text message. I'm just going to leave it there for a day or two.
Unfortunately, sometimes that's it.
Yeah.
And I think
get that.
And that's the truth where it's like, hold on, let me just put that aside, or I'll respond a little bit later, or I got the email. You know what? Give me like 10 minutes. But then that 10 minutes turns to 15 and then 20. And then it turns up to being like 2 hours and you're like, well, it's kind of too late if I respond now.
Or Sunday.
Yeah. But it shows.
And today is Monday.
Yeah. But it shows that that's how I've always dealt with certain things in my life, to do things. Like dealing with trauma, we have to treat it as a to-do. We have to deal with it. Trauma, to do. We see trauma, we have to react to it, and we have to acknowledge it. What do we feel? I mean, this is what I'm told by a therapist. We're giving you free stuff here, people.
Dude, seriously, guys.
We're giving you free stuff. Like, my therapist is telling me straight up, when you go through anger, when you feel angry, acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, I'm just like, I'm angry. You know what? That's not the way I'm supposed to feel right now. It's supposed to be feeling good. Like, no, feel angry. He's like, you have to feel that, because if you don't, it's just like you just said, Tetris.
Mm-hmm.
The blocks are going to go up, and then you're going to freaking blow up.
Mm-hmm. And as soon as we're done with this episode, we are going to figure out how to play Tetris in my front room. I'm just telling you.
We're talking about the game, people. We're talking about the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nobody knows in this household.
Stop it.
I only have 2 Mollies left.
I am never doing Molly.
And I had a friend that asked me to do it, and I'm like, I don't know, dude.
No.
But it's good for the show.
No, I'm not gonna compromise what's good for the show for you making another mistake.
Watch yourself,
I'm
Mr.
just saying,
Shamer.
I
don't have any regrets about it. You know that.
I know that.
But in and of itself, that is actually trauma to the body. Even though, like, emotionally, it was a married gentleman, right? It was drugs. It was in my bod. It takes forever to get out of your system. Like, that in of itself is a traumatic experience, because I have been psychologically dealing with seeing him in pavilions again, and all of these things. So that part of it's not going away. But what do you say about, because you're like, get angry? Okay, what do I do when I'm 13 years old and I've been raped? I didn't understand what real true anger was in regards to a lot of that until I was older, and wasn't ready to broach the topic because I didn't think that it was really affecting me. I didn't think that it was affecting me until like a freaking year ago. That's nutso. Right? So what do we do about that childhood trauma and how that manifests through your entire life, and how you handle relationships with your parents, with your friends, with your siblings, what have you? I mean, to your point, the fact that the two of us are both we're both only children in our families. That's one of the reasons I think that you and I get along well, is because we're kind of like brother and sister without being brother and sister, where we can share whatever and whatever with each other. And
we just talk.
We talk.
We just go
and
on
we
and talk
ask
about
for
it.
advice for each other. And because I feel really safe with you. It's a safe space. And I like having that brother, that feeling, because I don't have that in my life,
Yeah, you also mentioned another thing that I want to point out. And this is like recovering from all that. And by the way, the article that I'm currently looking at is saying this is scientifically proven to help mend like brokenness and trauma.
Here we go.
It says, okay, this is the biggest one, and this is, but you already pointed at this one. You said find your story. Mm-hmm. Find your story. What are you about? What is a story? What is your story written of? Where does your story begin? Does it begin when you're 7? Does it begin when you're 20? 22? Does it begin when you're today?
Well, and can you close that book
and then start another
and start
book?
A new one?
Or is it a chapter?
Yeah,
of an entire book.
I don't know. My book is really fucking long.
Because again, I didn't even know I had anger problems up until this past year.
Yeah.
Where I would lash out, and I would lash out in my head, but it's because I kept the building blocks so far up. Yeah. I never acknowledged the fact that I was bullied, and that made me angry. That my mother, I wanted her to be there more as a mother, not just like this psychiatrist that just wanted me to just come to her, just like melt on her, then blow up in my face and all this stuff, or come to me with her problems as well.
Yeah, that's not fair at all.
It's not fair. No, yeah. Friends that I didn't really have friends up until college, all this stuff made me angry. The fact that again, my heart just got fixed when it could have been fixed when it was in high school, and all this stuff when I was an athlete and working out and trying to get better, and I think again, I have to, whatever we deal with, just have to confront it. And it sounds like we're being bitch babies over here complaining about our problems, but it's like we all have issues that we fucking complain about, and I'm sorry, that's just how I feel.
Well, and it's human nature for us to complain. Like, I try really hard. And in fact, we just went out to our sushi spot before we podcast today, because that's typically what we do. And, I feel like we're not bitch babies. We're really not. I don't feel like you complain. And this is just me speaking. I don't feel like you complain. You said to me, Lyndsay, you haven't been complaining about X, Y, and Z, but you were whining about this. And the things that I do whine about end up being shit that doesn't matter to me. Does that make sense?
Interesting.
But the stuff that I don't complain about or don't whine about are things that there's nothing to actually complain and whine about. Even though there are issues, even though there are hurdles to jump and things to get through, I'm not whining and complaining about those, because I love that person or that client or that topic or whatever it might be so much that there isn't a reason for me to complain and whine about it. But if there is, that just means get it the fuck out of here. It's toxic. Get rid of the bitch babies. Get rid of them.
What's funny is, like, when you talk about even your pain, you don't ever really complain about your pain.
I don't. I just talk about it and educate about it.
And you acknowledge it, like it's there. So even that trauma, you've actually dealt with your pain in a more healthier way than sometimes the way we deal with, I don't know, our anger or issues or
100%. And I'm angry about my pain.
Of course.
I am. And I have my moments. I totally do. Most of them turn into tears versus me getting mad.
Or throwing your freaking medicine across the hallway.
Why are you bringing up old shit?
That was crazy.
It's because a doctor just gave me the same medication another doctor gave me. And I'm like, I know you were.
I was kind of there for it.
Kind of.
I was there for it physically, but in my head I was like, I'm kind of here for it. This is,
I know. But that just shows you how much I love you and trust you. I can throw medication across the room.
Literally. It wasn't like, she's not talking like, metaphorically.
It came from a place of disappointment. It came from heartbreak. I literally have $200,000 I have spent on my body in 2 years to try to fix it. And if the thing that the psychologist just told me is that it's emotion, I'm going to fucking blow my brains out, because I have tried stem cells twice. I mean, every freaking thing on the book, foil hats, like travel to the moon with Trump who thinks it's Mars. I mean, my God.
All right, calm down.
I did not go up.
Okay.
You make it more. You do that. God damn it.
I'm just making sure. So what is the takeaway? What is the takeaway from all of this? Honestly, what I do to cope with, to heal from a trauma, one, like I said last episode, therapy. And I'm not trying to make it this is more of an enhanced version of last week's episode, really. But it's more of understanding that, what do you do to cope?
Yeah.
What do you do? Because what do? You're gonna be angry. So you're gonna be angry. Like what? You're gonna be, you're gonna run around and throw yourself on the floor. You're gonna throw stuff on the ground. What?
Gonna throw a bitch baby tantrum.
You gonna throw a tantrum. What are you gonna do? You were, something happened to you when you were 4 that you can't, and I'm not, singling out one incident. I'm saying, physical